All right. Welcome. I'm Dee from Embodied Sexuality Tarot. If you saw the intro, I make jewelry, and you can book me through my Ko-Fi shop there, rocking the tiger's eye today. All right. So typically, I just open up and just channel messages. All right. I find that to be best for me in the way that I channel. Real quick, Embodied Sexuality Tarot is about, bridging spirituality and practicality as it relates to connecting to body and spirit, improving relationship with self and relationship with others. All right. So that's what I focus on. Relationship with others is typically romantic, but I also open it up for platonic, familial, co-workers, anybody in your energy field. All right. Just to kind of help navigate those relationships. All right. But this one I want specifically to be romantic because I like talking about love and stuff and relationships. So that's what we're going to do. And also, the moon is in Libra right now, ruled by Venus, my ruling planet. So let's go ahead and tap in. What needs to be heard, what needs to be honored about romantic relationships right now at this time. For those watching. Strength. Okay. Queen of Pentacles. Alright, I feel like if you're watching this video, you are looking for a long-term relationship or in a long-term relationship. Or, you're just in a relationship that you would like to be long-term. You could also even be looking for a life partner, somebody to marry. Okay, hold on. We also do have the completion card at the back of the deck. What's going on with the completion here? Before I keep going. Oh, okay. Some of you walked away from somebody. Yep. So we got the Grim Reaper. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Hold on. Okay, so I got a few things coming through. So the first thing we've got Queen of Pentacles. So you could have just exited a long-term relationship. It could also potentially be a marriage. All right, because we've got balance, scales, justice, Libra, energy, justice system, legal system, things like that. Okay. So let's see. This could be a relationship where one person was more dominant or made more of the decisions. I feel like this situation, honestly, I don't feel like it ended peacefully. It could have ended as peacefully as it was going to get, but I definitely feel like there are, like, it's still tension or hidden feelings and things like that. Okay, so we also have the boat here where it says receiving what you need, progression, closure issues, right? Moving on, closure issues. So yeah, I definitely feel this could be a situation where somebody just kind of stopped communicating, they just left, or they just kind of came out of nowhere with divorce, or just like, I don't know, I just feel like it was a complete left turn, or maybe one person still wanted to work on the relationship. And so the other person just kind of let go a lot faster than they wanted. So anyway, so yeah, for some of you this could be divorce, legal stuff, or it could just be a long-term relationship, okay, that you felt had potential for to be longer. I do feel like for a very small portion of the viewers that there could be kids involved. Okay. I feel like this person, so with the Queen of Pentacles and this completion card, yeah, we do also have expansion. Hold on. Expansion here underneath. So like I said, there could have been children involved, or you could have, been living together or got property together, or just kind of, were bound in more ways than just dating. And so what I mean by that is, like, so two people can date. Typically when it's new, they'll live in different places and still live their own life or whatever. But like as you progress in a relationship, you get kids, you live together, you start the person like spends the night like over like a lot. You could start sharing money or accounts and things like that. So with this expansion card, I just feel like it was long term. There was more binding of you two, or like coming together of you two. Okay. Anyways, the other thing that I'm getting here is with this completion card. This tells me that, you know, a relationship recently ended, but also I feel like with this relationship, you could have, you know, feel very close to this person or them close to you. Just there's a bond here of maybe they helped you through a loss or a change, a transition. And so that kind of really brought you guys together. And so I feel like, you know, it's possible that you lost a friend with this situation here. Okay. So with the strength card coming through, I just really feel like acknowledging your emotions is really important. Okay. And nurturing yourself, giving yourself grace. There's also, I just heard forgiveness. Now, I'm not here to preach about what you should do and what's best for you. I will never do that. But I just heard forgiveness, and I will say that forgiveness is for you and not the other person. Okay? So do not rush yourself to forgive or don't rush, you know, I wouldn't rush somebody else to forgive because people do things in their own time, you know, when it's ready. But I did hear forgiveness. What else is going on? But anyway, with the strength card, there's just this overall message of acknowledging emotions, like allowing yourself to do that. We also have the Four of Pentacles here, so I feel like you or, you know, just somebody in this connection is really holding on, especially with this receiving what you need card. And I feel like you could agree that the relationship is over, you know, Grim Reaper. But I feel like the holding on has to do with, you know, like maybe not getting the last word or not getting clarity, not getting the why, right? So I can definitely relate to that because I'm a why person. I don't know if this is you, but you could be like, you know, I was so good to you. I did this for you. I was there for you, this and that. So why didn't it work? Why didn't it work when I did everything for it to work, right? So I don't know. That could be you saying that or thinking that. And that can create this Four of Pentacles where you're just kind of holding on to the situation and still sitting in it because you're trying to rack your brain on like, why? So that's coming through. We also have King of Wands here. So, you know, if this resonates for the situation, I do feel like the King of Wands is coming through of like, this situation could have to do with temperament. So Wands is the element of fire. So it could just be like different temperaments or different ways of feeling or navigating. So this could have been like a hot, cold situation. This person could have been very ambitious or just kind of a little bit more independent. And so this could just have to do with different aspirations or progression in life. Okay, so it could have to do with that. But I feel for a majority of you, this could be just kind of like a hot, cold situation. Well, actually, too, we also do have Nine of Pentacles, all right? So if you're looking for a why, I just feel like this person, they're just in a stage of like a soul journey. Like there's something they have to do on their own. We also have Four of Wands. Okay. And King of Cups. So again, like I said, where it could have been a hot, cold situation, we have King of Wands, and then we also have King of Cups. All right, so we've got fire and water here. But ultimately, I just feel like they're just going on some sort of a soul journey that has to do with aspirations, but also I'm seeing the Hermit, even though I haven't drawn it here. I do feel like there could have been some sort of philosophical thing happening to them or spiritual awakening or insight, something like a light bulb thing where they're just kind of like, I have to step away. I'm supposed to do something else. I'm supposed to be somewhere else. Like, I know it might sound insensitive for me to say it that way. I apologize, but I just feel like, you know, this person just kind of, I think a better way of saying it is like, if you're with in a situation for a while, and you're, it could be good, it could be whatever it is, right? But as we grow and develop, we just kind of change a little bit. And sometimes our aspirations change, our desires change, our thinking changes, and then we just kind of feel like doing something else, or going somewhere else, or learning something else, or, it's almost like a different stage in the chapter, a different stage in the book. So I hope that felt a little bit better with my delivery. But like I said, I'm a reader. I don't know your situation. I just can just tell you what I'm picking up, all right? So, yeah. Okay, what else needs to be heard? What needs to be learned? What's going on here? Got Four of Wands again, Nine of Pentacles again. I'm going to reshuffle just to make sure. Okay, we got Hermit. I was just saying that, and there he is. Yeah, some introspection. This person did a lot of reflection. Anyway, this person is either like they've done a lot of reflecting, or they need to change their environment and situation to be able to reflect properly, right? So there's something I'm going to say, and it may or may not resonate, but this is just the way that I know how to communicate it, right? So a person cannot heal in the environment that is hurting them. Okay, so sometimes you have to remove yourself from the environment to begin healing, or to begin, restoring and just doing what you need to do. So that doesn't necessarily mean that the environment was toxic or poisonous. I don't have cards for that, but I'm just using that analogy to say, sometimes you have to step away from an environment for, other healing and changes to start to go through, or like take place. Okay. So yeah, we do have the Hermit that came through. Is there any support? Let's see what we can. What support can we give the reader? What kind of supporting message can we give the viewer? I mean, what supporting message can we give the viewer here? Hierophant. Okay, so, and the Sun. Let me do one more. So I would say with this situation, it would be helpful to take more of think of a higher perspective. Or so sometimes when we're in a situation, we can only see. Okay, so when we're in a situation, we can only see it from our lens, our point of view, right? Because we're right up in there. And so sometimes you might hear somebody say, like, so say you're in a relationship, and you're looking at it through rose-colored glasses. You think everything is good, it's the best, and all this and that. But like, you've got friends who are looking in. They have a different perspective, right? They're not looking through it firsthand or with rose-colored glasses, so they have a different perspective. And so I'm using that analogy to say that sometimes when we're up close and personal in it, we just have a different view that may not be accurate. And so when we step away, and like, honestly, when I look at my past relationships, I'm like, oh, I see where that person didn't treat me right. Oh, I could have did better, or you know what I mean? But while I was dating that person, I thought I was going to marry them. I thought they were the best. So what I'm getting with these cards is like, you could be feeling like, maybe you were the problem, or maybe you weren't enough, or you didn't do enough, or just, you could just like be having this view that like that is very cloudy and rainy and very mournful. Of course, like when we experience loss, we mourn, totally normal. Do what you need to do. But I feel like, so what's going to be supportive and helpful for you is the Hierophant. Okay, so having more of a grander view and allowing yourself to step back and actually look at the situation for what it was. Okay, was it all gumdrops and rainbows? Was it healthy? Okay, was it able to like have potential for, this or that or whatever? Like, really take a step back and think about it from a bird's eye view. All right. And also that can help you with, if you're experiencing, like, for some of you, so I just heard self-deprecation. So I feel like maybe that's for one person here, maybe not for everyone, but it could be where your self-esteem is very impacted and you just really are just trying to figure out like how to build yourself back up, right? And so part of that could be if you're seeing with the Hierophant a bird's eye view, then you're understanding like, no, it wasn't you. Like this is bigger than you, that person had other things going on, or they had other, like just as a quick example, I was dating a guy who was abusive, and I thought, if I love him harder, love him more, be kinder, that he would stop. But it wasn't me. He was carrying deep insecurities, right? So what I'm trying to say is with the Hierophant, it's like if you have that bird's eye view or allow yourself to step back and see the fuller picture, then you'll be able to kind of dispel these feelings that are coming up, that may be coming up for you, because it's not you. I think in every relationship there's something to be learned. It could help you set up boundaries if you need to. It could help you work through anxious attachment, or help you work on communication or things like that. So there are things. So yeah, Hierophant is also saying, treat this as a learning opportunity. Okay. But also see things for what it is, in a way that is not damaging to your self-esteem, right? Because like I said, that person has their own thing going on. They could have had their own insecurities, their own traumas, their own journey, or things that they need to do that wasn't a reflection of anything that you did. All right. But I do feel, so we do have the Sun card. We do have Paradise. And we also have the Butterfly. And we have Two of Wands. Oops. Okay, Two of Wands. Anyways, I pull all these to say that there's just this quick message of like, it'll get better. And I want to show you, is it right here? It is. I love this card because although, an ending has happened, a cycle is completed, there's the sun rising in the back. Okay? So that's what I really feel like these cards are all trying to tell you, is that, as the rain clears, the storm clears, and, your vision clears and you start seeing things for what they were, and kind of build yourself back up, then this is this radiant sun energy getting back to who you are. Like it reminds me of people when they go through a breakup and then they put that energy into going into the gym. They put that energy into starting a business. They put that energy into, something, right? So I just really see that for you, where this is an opportunity where you can take that experience, learn from it, and channel it, create something with it, and become your radiant self. Align with a new version of you, align with a path that is better. So yeah. Yes. All right. So I'm going to wrap up your reading here. If you're new to my channel, typically I will pull self-care card at the end of each reading, and these are just to kind of help you process the information, because sometimes I can say or give some tough love and whatever, but it's also in case you just want to add something to your self-care repertoire that could be helpful. So let's see. Okay, so this card says, activate all senses. Pause, look around you, and list the first 5 things you see. Listen deeply. What 4 sounds are there? Observe your emotions and name 3 of them. Define 2 smells that you recognize. Finally, identify 1 taste. All right? So I really feel like that is a tool to kind of help you get into the present moment. If you find yourself ruminating on the past, or ruminating on, or getting into some self-deprecation for some of you, or who do that. But just if you're spiraling down and just really focusing on the negative, using that tool could be helpful to bring you back into the present moment and observing things, observing other life, you know, things to kind of bring you back into the energy of other life, especially with plants. So if you're doing that outside, for sure, that's a really good thing. Or around animals, because animals are typically really happy, and plants just like give. They just give oxygen, transmute. They just give radiant glows of green and brown. And anyway, I'm rambling. I'm sorry, y'all. So yeah, I hope that reading was helpful and gave you some insight, some advice, and some things to take care of yourself. All right. Best luck to you on your journey. Take care.